Hey guys, I'm Michael Waldron. I did my interview about George Waldron, the Director of Business Development for Zipco Contracting Inc. A little bit of background about George and Zipco Contracting. He's been with Zipco since 2016. He worked in insurance and restoration before that. He worked for Crawford Insurance for 20 years, and he worked for Heron Laughlin for, I believe it was around 8 years, which was a very similar company to Zipco. He's held many different management positions. He was an office manager for his insurance company, turned down the regional manager position, and was a office manager at Heron Laughlin. He's worked in various different fields and aspects. He's very familiar with the management side of things. About a little bit about Zipco, they're a disaster recovery, general contracting, and a contents cleaning company. They're located in Liberty, Missouri. They actually just recently expanded a second branch out to Florida, I believe, is where they're looking, and then I think they're going to move to Iowa soon. Um, in my interview, I asked George about their hiring process and what they really look for when hiring employees. They really want them to fit the company culturally. They care about doing. They want the potential candidate to care about doing the right thing, acknowledging and performing proper customer service, and who don't need to be micromanaged every second of the day. Um, One specific quote that he stated in the interview I had with him, he said, I can teach anyone how to do a job, but I cannot teach them to care about doing a good job. So it definitely makes an impact when you can find the right person that can fit the company culturally and understand how to fit the customer needs, satisfy that customer, and doesn't have to be looked after all the time. Next up, I asked him what strategies they use to measure performance. Um, as you can see on the bottom, there's two pictures of the same house. One about what happened, and then, or like what happened to the house. Obviously, the roof caved in, and then them fixing the roof. Um, Obviously, they don't produce the product or sign people up to get their house, their roof fixed or whatever. So they do more digital marketing or website and sales sheets. That's what my dad does under the business development. And the more contracts they get leads to higher performance, leading to business growth, which leads to bonuses. So they basically measure their company based off business growth, and that their business growth is then measured on how many contracts they can get. So he can go out and network and bring people in to get jobs for Zipco. Next up, I asked about the organizational structure of Zipco. It's a pretty general small firm. There's roughly 60 employees. 30 of them work in the field, fixing the roofs or whatever they got to do, and then there's about 20 to 30 of them in the office. They have a vice president of operations. His name's Brett Clem. Everyone reports to him. He's the top guy. And then you have the estimators and the project managers do the same. My dad also reports to the vice president of operations. They meet weekly for an hour to discuss projects and potential customers that they may find along the way during each week. Each team is responsible for their own success. So an estimator is paired up with a project manager, while the estimator goes out and he does more of the salesman job aspect of it, finding the clients for the project manager, and then once they close the deal, the project manager swoops in, and he will ultimately take over the task with the other field employees fixing what needs to be fixed. Characteristics for a good manager, based on this is George's opinion for what he's seen over the years. He's been in the industry for a long time, like I mentioned earlier. Um, and then obviously his strengths and his weaknesses. So qualities, obviously treating people fairly and consistently, and then being able to adapt to different environments is something that he said he sees as a good aspect for a manager. So that's being able to, if your people are feeling upset that day, maybe you don't come in being an angry manager, or you come in a good mood to try to um, raise your workers up a little bit and lift some spirits. It's also trying to excel your B employees to A's and your C employees to B's, and just trying to make sure that your team is working along well and they're all improving as they go. Where when you have those A employees, you just kind of let them do their thing because they are like your top guns. So, and then lastly, caring for both the job and the employee, not getting too carried away with the job and just losing interest in ethical responsibilities with your employees, where you are treating them fairly and consistently, but you're also making sure that the job is highlighted, very importantly. And then he said one of his strengths is his fairness with employees. He is very fair with everyone, but he's also strong. And what I mean by strong is that um, if you're not doing a good job, he will let you go. He's done it before. So that leads into his weakness, where his weakness is waiting too long to let someone go. He gives them, too many chances. He's fair enough to give them more chances, but it's almost like he's hurting the company in that aspect by letting them hang on for too long. So those are just some characteristics of a good manager, and George's strengths and weaknesses in the field over the years that he's been there. That's pretty much all I got. Zipco is, like I said, located in Liberty, Missouri, and if you ever need help, fire hazard, disaster recovery, anything, reach out to them. Thank you.